You are dumb if you're waiting for the real estate market to crash. All right, I'm not making this video to tell you what your opinion should be. I'm gonna recite exactly what has happened in the real estate market and the economy for the past 4 years. Obviously, the market we're in is not normal. The prices are not normal. Nothing's normal, right? We've been saying let's get back to normal for the past who knows how long, right? Let's get back to pre-pandemic, okay? This is what we're gonna be talking about, and I'm gonna address all of the concerns all of my clients have been having, other real estate agents, economists. Let's take a deep dive into what has been happening in the real estate market, the economy, how did we get here, and where are we going from here? So let's analyze the data, let's take a look together, and I'm gonna take you on a journey through numbers, emotions, and let's look at the Los Angeles real estate market and the macro economy. My name is Brandon. I'm a local real estate agent in the Los Angeles area. I've been doing real estate for some years now, and I've seen a lot of emotions. I've seen a lot of decisions made and a lot of high pressure situations because real estate drives the economy. It's a main driver, it's a main sector, and I'm involved in a lot of people's lives. So let's take a deep dive into what's going on, what's been happening. So if this is helpful to you, and it's my goal that you can share this, it's actual data and relevant information to make you more informed on your decisions. So let me go down here. Right, yes, this is a real estate crisis. And it's not just real estate, but we're gonna be focusing only on real estate for this specific purpose because we can go for hours, right? So let's go to the next slide. Number one, let's address the current issues today. Number one, I don't wanna sell until I find my next home. Number two, why is everything so expensive? Home prices, interest rates, cars, credit debt, gas, everything is so expensive. Why? Number three, well, since the environment that we're in is so hard, why don't we just wait? Well, my friends, I have people waiting since 2018 that are kicking themselves in their butt. So waiting is not an option. Waiting is not a strategy. Unless you know exactly what you are waiting for, let's talk about it. And last but not least, we're gonna talk about rates, the inventory, and the economy, okay? This is not my house, it's not my style, but hey, I'm sitting there, how you doing? All right, next, myself included, waiting for the market to crash, right? Let's get this out of the way. The market's not crashing. I don't have a crystal ball. Right, I can't tell you for certain anything. According to the data, that's not apparent. The economy's strong, homes are selling, people have jobs. Okay, this is pricing from sellers. Just a little bit meme to get you guys kind of haha. So, how did you come up with the asking price? The seller random number, right? Because in 2019 and 20, when rates went to 0%, 2%, every home that sold was selling higher than the last sold home. So they were just throwing numbers on the table and they were sticking. Now, the market, people don't know how to price. That's why you see price reductions. When you go from a 2.5% interest rate to 7%, your buying power is half of what it was, right? The cost has gone double. So pricing is an issue now because people don't know how to read the market. We have to price ahead of the market and we have to price differently than what people are willing to tell you. It's about having honest conversations, okay? Rates pave the path for housing, okay? What does that mean? It's all according to affordability. If I can afford a payment of $3,500, let's say $4,000 2 years ago, and that bought me an $800,000 house. Today, that $4,000 is gonna buy you, what is it? $585,000, right? Home values haven't changed, but the affordability has changed. And the one factor that changes on payments is your interest rate. Before you lock it in, it's up and down. Every day, interest rates are volatile. But once you buy the home, it's fixed, okay? So that's why I say, buy a home at a payment that you can afford that gets you the home that you want. But that's the one metric that's driving the housing market. That's why people, number one, aren't selling. Number two, are having trouble buying. What your money can buy you is not going as far as it once did. It holds homeowners hostage. I don't want to sell because I have this rate, right? We're going to get into that. So let me just read this to you guys. This is a affordability. It all comes down to affordability, right? Rates were very low. Now, these numbers can change with taxes and insurance. This is just principal and interest. $4,000 payment in 2020 and 21 with a 3.25% interest rate was able to buy you $1 million home. Fast forward to today at 7.5%, you are losing almost 50% of your buying power. Okay? But why aren't prices dropping? Why aren't prices dropping? Because the supply is not catching up. Because there's still demand, people still need to buy. Okay? Let's look at the economic model. Why are we here? Why are we in this unfair market where home prices are astronomical, people are still buying, and the entry-level home is almost non-existent? Why are things so expensive? Let's look at into why are we here? So, first things, this is crucial. Monetary policy. What is that? If you guys remember something called COVID, when the coronavirus first came out, this was scary. China was shut down. The US was preparing for this with the lockdowns. So, in times of economic uncertainty, federal governments use something called monetary policy. And monetary policy is manipulating dollars to influence an economy. And the number one driver of an economy in either going to be in a recession or an expansion is GDP, gross domestic product. How is this business performing? And we all know a recession is technically a recession when we have negative GDP growth for 2 quarters or more. The Fed wanted to avoid a recession from the economic shutdown. So what did they do? Number one, quantitative easing. And March 15th, I literally remember this moment. My birthday was on March 13th, and on the 15th, everything shut down. The Federal Reserve embarked on a large-scale program employing emergency powers to stabilize the tumultuous economy under pressure from COVID. Chief among these actions are cutting interest rates effectively to zero and $700 billion round of quantitative easing. If you guys remember in the news, it was very big. Fed buying mortgage-backed securities. They're buying banks' debt. I'm going to buy your debt and make money on it. That's what the Fed was doing. So essentially, they were buying the bank's debt to make it as low as possible. So banks can have lower interest rates, okay? So when you lower the cost of capital, when you lower what money costs to lend, okay? So the banks get their money from the federal government. And then banks lend to each other, which they lend to you, okay? What happened was the worst stock market correction since 1987. Let's go next, what happened? This is quantitative easing, okay? Quantitative easing is a factor that has been used in the last Great Recession to avoid a Great Depression, right? So let's look at how money works. So the government issues money to the banks, okay? Which in turn sell those in bonds and equities to the government, okay? The bank loans money to us, which they make money on interest. So if the banks can loan and get money from the government at a lower cost, the banks are going to be more willing to loan money to the consumer. They're going to loan more of it. Because when you take into account how much interest has occurred in a 30-year mortgage. That's where the money is made with the banks. They don't make it on the down payment. All the money is made on the interest. And if you look at an amortized table of interest that a mortgage is, you're paying almost 60%. It's all mortgage. Barely any goes to your principal payment. That's all money going to the bank. So when the cost of the dollar goes down, if you have the same payment of $4,000 when prior, let's just say $1,000 of that was going towards interest. And now that interest is only costing you $200. Now you just freed up another $800 to buy. Now all of a sudden your $600,000 buying power goes to $900,000. That's what happened to the market. Okay, so it makes money easier to lend, small business loans easier to give. So there was money stimulated into the economy. They injected the money into the economy to get people to spend and to buy houses. So we thought that the market was going to crash. We thought the economy was going to go down. But what the Fed did, let's lower rates. And they did this in 2008. They do it anytime there's a threat of a recession, increased spending. But what this does, what the issue of this is the M2 money supply chart. You can find this on the Federal Reserve System called FRED. This is where I get my data from, okay? If you look at 2020, this one, I don't know how many months this is, but if you look at this period of how much money was printed here, this is what we're suffering from right now. It's called inflation. The more you do of something, right? The more of something there is, the less it's worth. Okay? So they inflated the economy, they drove the growth up, and they stopped it. And you can see it's trending down, right? There's no more money being printed into the economy. Something changed. But you can see how much money was printed in the economy over the last 2 years has been more than in the past decade. This is the problem. So let's look at the history. November 3rd, 2021. We started in 2020, March 15th. It was a whole year of buying mortgage-backed securities. The Fed announced that it will reduce the pace of asset purchases. And this is when they first announced it, that, hey guys, we're going to be dialing back. We're not going to be buying as much mortgage-backed securities. We're going to be tapering off. They announced this in 21. They're not buying them anymore now, but this is where we're at. 18 months after initiating emergency actions that included slashing its key interest rate to 0%. Keep in mind, Fed fund rate went to 0%. I'll have a chart after this slide. Of quantitative easing, the Fed had announced that it will begin to pull back on supporting the economy. With its steep reduction in the rate of asset purchases through the quantitative, it's called QE program, okay? So until now, the Fed has been buying in the region of $120 billion in assets per month. That's not a little bit of money. The Fed will reduce this was stated in 21, reduce it by $15 billion per month, exiting quantitative easing by the middle of 22, which happened. The move signals both optimism on the part of the Fed as to the state of the economy. This is when they realize the economy is good to go. So they're going to stop buying. They're going to take the training wheels off of the economy, right? This is when the people are out again, the economy's going. Both signals of optimism that the Fed had, which is a signal from the economy. It seems likely that the next move on the Fed's part will raise rates from near 0% since it wasn't 20%. So the Fed were going to raise rates. Rates went to zero. They were buying bad debt. They were buying mortgage-backed securities to keep the government, the economy afloat. They're going to reverse it. This is what happened. This is what we're feeling now. So this is the Fed fund rate. Effectively, this is what the government lends to banks, okay? This is only set for the past, let's say, 2006, right? Look at the trend. Look at the trend. 2006, 2007. Fed fund rate was around 5.5%. They were getting signals from the economy. It's crashing. Boom. This is the same strategy they used in the last recession. This is what they wanted to keep us out of. So, from 2009 to 2015, The Fed fund rate was kept at near 0%. Right? If you look at the trend here, grows back up to around 3.5%, 2.5%. Boom. Pandemic hits. Let's do the same strategy. And now, in a matter of 6 months, the federal fund rate has reached over 5%. That's why rates are so high, because the bank cannot lend a borrower lower than what the Fed fund rate is. Does that make sense? Because the banks are lend money as well. Let's look here. This is the average mortgage 30-year for the past 1975. Now, I hate when people talk about, oh, the interest rates in 1980s were 15%, 17%, right? I get it, yes. But that's a different story. There is this commonality. There's high inflation, right? Economic uncertainty in that time, but prices are way different. We have way higher inflation, way higher prices now. Different salaries, different incomes. You guys know this. But overall, interest rates are around 7% if you see the trend line. And if we look at 2020, you see how low it got. 2.2%. People have crazy rates. In a matter of 6 months, up to 7%, 8%. We haven't seen 8 yet, but 7%. That shocked the market. That shocked the market. Why are they doing this? Inflation. Why are they raising rates? Inflation. Look at this average price of the United States home. It was on average, let's look here, around 300,000. In 2020, 375. Okay, not too bad. In a span of 1 year, it climbed almost $100,000, reaching the peak of the average home price over 500 grand. Why did it do that? Cost of money is down. You can buy more home, and that's it. So home values went up because supply remained constant. Demand went through the roof. So what's actively on the market is being gobbled up, and buyers can pay more. This is where we're at. Now, if you can see here, there is a change. There's a change in the market. Home values are adjusting not to supply, but to buyers' purchasing power. Supply hasn't changed, but buyers cannot buy what they used to buy. So, prices need to correct. This is where we are, okay? So if you can look, when interest rates were at their highest, inflation was at the highest, reaching 15%. The correlation, averaging inflation around 2%. That's the Federal Reserve's target price, target percentage of 2%. That's where the Fed wants to be. From a high of 8.9%, the Fed increased rates, okay? If you look right here, 7.5%, 8%, 8.9%, the Fed needed to raise rates to halt the spending of consumers, to halt the economy. We don't want to end up like Venezuela. We don't want to end up when our dollar is worth nothing. It already is deflating, but they needed to stop it. So this is what happened. They raised rates, and it worked. We're around 3.2% inflation, core inflation right now, and their target's 2%. So there is hope on the horizon for rates to come down. Supply. This is what's driving the prices to stay where they are. And people are in a bind. With no listings on the market, being in a strong seller's market due to the value of it goes up. When you have people competing with each other, the value goes up. But let's not forget about the white elephant in the room. Foreclosures. Where are the foreclosures? I hear this for years now. I'm going to wait for the foreclosures to come on the market. Okay, thank you, but I don't see that. We had forbearances in 2020. People are paying them off. They're doing 40-year mortgage refinances. That's not going to happen. Yes, in 2008, they reached 7 to 8% delinquency rate. Today, we're just above 1% delinquency rate. So look at the data. Don't look at the news. Don't look at what your uncle's saying. It's not going to happen. We were going to get foreclosures, and typically foreclosures to come on the market take 8 to 9 months for the court approval process, yada, yada, yada. So if we were to have a foreclosure crisis next year, we would see an uptick. I don't see an uptick. So this is where we are. Interest rates are going up. Home values in specific markets are also going up. People need to move, regardless of the fact. Some people are going to say, you know what, forget it, let's figure it out. People are finding ways to buy homes. There's less homes on the market for sale right now. So values are going to remain constant. Let's look at the inventory. Well, that's what drives the price. How much of this product is available on the market? How much demand is there? If you look at the past, I don't know, 30 years, I don't know how many years that is, I'm not going to think. But let's say 84, okay? 30 something years, right? 37 years, someone correct me. Okay? This is a total housing inventory. These are in the hundreds of thousands. But just look at the chart, okay? A normal market is around 4 months of inventory, okay? 4 to 5 months is a balanced market. This is 8 months plus of inventory. Foreclosure crisis, okay? Trending down for the last 10 years, total inventory. Why? Because the new builders stopped building. We're behind almost 500,000 units. It's going to take a long time for us to get back up. People are still having babies. Millennials are becoming of buying age. Boomers are downsizing and buying homes that millennials are moving into. Okay? Population is not, it's still growing. This is the problem. With 2 months of inventory nationwide, that's causing the prices to be where they are. So if there's no reason for prices to drop other than affordability, prices will drop if rates keep going up. Let's look at the monthly supply. This is a little bit more in depth since 1965. Now, if you look at the past recessions in the United States, they're shown here in these gray areas. So about every 10 years, right? We did go through a recession. It was a small one, but it was externally funded. What do I mean by that? It was a black swan event. COVID is not, well, you put your political views to the side. It was not made by the government. You know what I mean? This 2008 was mortgage fraud. There was an oil crisis, mortgage fraud. Okay? This was a virus. The government had to respond. So if you look at supply, died. It died in 2020. Look at that. So if you have no supply, you have a prime buying market with almost free money. That's where the prices went. Okay? So gradually, boom, 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 boom. Back up to 2021. Okay, market's back to kind of a better market. We're about 3 months of inventory. Rates are going up. We need to sell. Now, 23, inventory is going down because some people can't sell. Total supply of available inventory. So I'm going to make my bubble over here. These are the years. Okay, 17, 18, 19. The trends of inventory increase. March, April, May, June, July, August. Inventory increases. And you get into the seasonality of things. September, October, November, December. Seasonally decreases. So, we already started off at a massive disadvantage. This is the total SFR count in the United States. We're below 600. Like, a normal market, we need 800,000 plus inventory. We're about 496. We haven't had this many listings on the market since Christmas, but rates have not been this high. If you look at 21 and 22, we're on trend. It's going to be a very tight market for inventory, guys. It's going to be a very tight market for the rest of the year. Once rates drop, we should see more people coming onto the market. But right now, it's going to be tight. If you look at the active inventory, this is Los Angeles County. Our inventory is climbing, right? Since September, it's been climbing. Seasonality. Take a look. Active inventory. Actively 8,000 homes on the market. We reached below support line and we're about average with the homes. So we got more coming on. Year over year. 2023 is blue. It's not looking healthy. The inventory is not on trend with average. Far below average. 19. 19 was average, okay? But as you can see, seasonality is real. People make their moves from May to the end of summer. From there, the inventory drops off. So if you're a buyer and you're waiting for the market to go down, there is no perfect time to buy. Sellers, there's no perfect time to sell because buyers are buying before they have to go back to school in the summertime. Winter time, people are having family holiday. There's no perfect time. But look at the trends. We're far behind where we need to be with inventory. Can you guys believe that? We have had the lowest inventory tracking since 2012. Last year, we've had 11,000 homes in the market. This year, only 8,000. This is an issue. This is 38% reduction of inventory and transactions year over year. And these are not fake percent. So remember, buying homes is not strictly investment. It's for your family. You have to remember the why. Why are we doing this? If you don't have to, why are you doing it? So the most people that are buying in today's market, they have to move. There's something that happened in their family. There's a life change. There's a child. They need more space. So always, and that's what I do with my clients. We go back to the why. Why are we doing this? What is it? What's the advantage? And then we put together a structure. I call this the golden handcuffs. Our average interest rate in today's market in California, 87% of homeowners have a 5% or lower interest rate. 69% have a 4% or lower. And 30% of homeowners have 3% or lower interest rate. If you're owning a home at 3% rate, why do you want to move? Well, here's the thing. You don't move because of your interest rate. You move because you want a better life, right? This is what we need to advise our clients. You have a problem. So let's address it, okay? These are the stats on what, because remember, people refinanced. It was refinance boom and a purchase boom in the past 2 years. So let's look at for sale signs. This is in LA County, okay? We have 7% less inventory now than what we did in 2020. 21, 2% less. 22, 16% less. We are at 37% less inventory than we did year over year. That's why prices are remaining. They're not booming, they're not crashing. It's all dictated by interest rates. If you look at this is since interest rates have rose. Once the rates went above 6%, you start seeing month to month to month decline in inventory. Almost at our lowest in April, 40% lower year over year from the previous market in 17 to 19. This is in 2023, 2022. So, low demand, low inventory. Let me explain this. Imagine if you're going to Disneyland and you know what? They're actually announcing that half of the rides are shut off. Half of them they're doing for maintenance, okay? So you and your family decide to go to Disneyland. Hey, let's go to Disneyland for the weekend. But there's only going to be 50% of the tickets remaining. Okay, so there's half the people. The lines are going to be shorter, right? They're only going to sell 50% of the tickets. But you get into the park and you find out there's still lines. And it's just as much time to wait to get on a ride and you can't get on all the rides. That's today's real estate market. The rides or the homes. There's less homes. The buyers. There's less buyers, right? There's 50% less buyers. I don't know the exact number, but there's less buyers in the market. Yet, people who need to buy are still buying. The total market has shrinked. There's less listings and less buyers, but it's an even match for what inventory there is remaining. So the demand is gone down in inventory, but the demand remains constant to match with the current inventory. Look at LA County affordability over time. So the average household income in 1980 was $18,000. Average sales price, $108,000. The average interest rate was 13.5% in 1980. How much percentage of your total income was used towards the home? Was 69%. Let's flash forward to 2012. Average rate was 3.6. Average sales price, $327. Average household income, $53,000. How much of that percentage was used towards the payments? Only 27%. That's healthy. Okay. 2020, rates 3.1%. Ooh. Home price doubled. What happened to the income? Income didn't double. So now they're using more of their income towards their payment. But it's still okay. People can still buy. Let's continue along this low rate, low inventory market. 3%. Wow. $801,000. Average home price in LA County. $77,000 average income. What's happening here? Oh, okay, our incomes haven't increased, but we're using more of our available income towards the house. Rates increase, prices still high. Average income not increased that much. 57% of the total available income. Today, 23, 7.25% interest rate. Average sales price, $851. It's probably a little bit lower now. Average income has increased a little bit, but still, it's not catching up. People are getting creative on how to buy homes. 69% of the income towards a home, that's where we're at. And it has gone down because the rates are too high. And that's all it is. Year over year, you see seasonality. This is January, this is December, this is August. So it trends down towards the end of the year. We are at our lowest that we've seen. And it's only going to go down from here. So the biggest thing, the dictator now, is going to be rates. Okay? These are pending transactions. So we're less transactions, less pendings. That's all it is. There's less home selling. I'm just going to get to the next slides. So where's the speed of the market? How fast is it? How hot is the market? Is it dead? Is it crashing? It's hard to say if it's a seller's market, if it's a buyer's market, because it's both. It's neither a seller's and it's neither a buyer's market. This is an economic-driven market that we haven't seen before. We are in uncharted territories. Rationally speaking, the market from 100 miles an hour 2 years ago is about 40. So homes are selling. They're not sitting forever. They're selling still. So the market's not dead. It's about 40 miles an hour. It's about half of what it was. So with rates increasing in 22, towards the end of 22, days on market exploded, sitting, because the prices didn't reflect what buyers could afford. So people are getting used to it. People got used to the rate. Okay? Days on market went down. Summertime. Homes are selling. Now rates went back up. We're heading towards the end of the year. Market time is going back up. August, 68 days. Last year, 78 days. 3-year average, 71 days. Today, it's about 68 days. It's healthy. Okay? The healthy market stays around 60 to 80 days. Okay? Encino, Sherman Oaks, Studio City, Valley Glen, Van Nuys, Lake Balboa, Reseda, Winnetka, and Tarzana. These are all major cities in LA County. Encino from 94 to 101 days. Sherman Oaks from 89 to 80 days. Studio City. If you look at these different areas, the price points impact the days in the market. Okay, Tarzana, it's gone down. Winnetka has gone down. Reseda has gone down. We're seeing a migration to lower price point areas, and homes are selling quicker, like Palmdale, Santa Clarita. People are venturing out to get what they want. Real quick, these are your price ranges in average days on market. 0 to 750,000 is 45 days average, and that's almost 30% of the inventory, but majority of the demand. That's the imbalance. You see, a majority of the home buyers are in this price range, but only 27% of the active inventory is that price. 750 to a million, 49 days of market, 18% of the inventory, 25% of the current buyer demand. Last year was 75 days. 1 to 1.5. Now we're increasing it, okay? 69 days. As the price increases, the days on market increases. 17%. It's a 1-to-1 buyer demand and inventory. Now you're changing markets. Now you're going to luxury, 1.5 to 2. 100 days on market. Last year was 85. 10% of the inventory and only 6% of the demand. So you can see there's two different markets that we're talking about here. If you look at this food, is this healthy or unhealthy? It's unhealthy. And that's where the market is right now. Rates are high, prices are high, we don't like to see this. I would prefer a healthy market, meaning a balanced market, meaning there's enough inventory for the amount of buyers there are, okay? What's gonna fix it are rates. The rates need to go down. The solution, the rates need to go down. It needs to become more affordable for people. And the government, they don't know what they're doing. The Fed, they need a housing strategist in there because they're jacking up the real estate market. I know they want to keep unemployment. They want to bring in unemployment and bring it higher so they can lower the rates, and that's what they're trying to see. But it's just not going to work. This is what the real estate market feels like. Okay? If you're a buyer, if you're a seller, right now there's no real clear-cut path for people. We have to get creative. So it's more important than ever to work with an experienced team that works together and has rapport together in your market and has experience in the market, because relationships go a long way. Somebody that says, what do you want to do? This is not just boom, 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 buy a house. We have to get creative, okay? What I'm doing, I'm getting market listings off the market. We're doing proactive prospecting activities to generate listings. There's different things we're doing. Now, look at what the government says. Projection. 2023, this is what they said last year. 2023 Q1, 6.4. Okay. They were expecting rates to drop in the last quarter to 5.7%. I just got a buyer into contract and their rate is 7.2%. Okay. Just don't listen to what the government says. This is Fannie Mae. Projections. So if you see any projections for rates out there, they're shooting darts at the wall. NAR, 2023 Q4, 5.7. That's not what's going on. That NAR president is anticipating the 30-year fixed rate to be average of 6% next year. Yes, we are expecting the rates to go down next year. We don't know when, but they do need to come down. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. They just want to see that 2% target inflation rate. So let's calm down. Let's have a beer, and it's a conversation. You're only a conversation away from finding the truth. I hope that helped you guys out. This is how the market's still on fire. They went from 6.5 to 7.5 this month. Consumer price index. This is inflation, okay? So the Fed's baseline 2% target, okay? If you would agree with me, inflation has never been this high since. Core CPI and headline CPI reached 8.9%. High in the last recession. Why? Remember, so much money was printed. Prices went up. The rates went up this high because this is a problem. If you have $100,000 sitting in your account 3 years ago, it's only worth 85 grand now. Your buying power, and you feel it in your gas tank, the food you're buying. This is a band-aid we need to rip off, the inflation. It has to happen. It's not going to be done yet, but it will be done. So bear with it, guys. If you're buying a home, buy it for the long run. And real estate is the safest hedge against inflation because it only appreciates over time. As you can see. So this is our leader in the Federal Chair Reserve, Mr. Powell, which is making all the calls on the inflation. So make sure to watch the news whenever he's on. Whatever his reactions are, you can see kind of how he reacts. And the stock market reacts shortly thereafter. Jobs growth, July, 187,000 new jobs. Unemployment is at 3.5%. Average hourly pay is up 4.4%. And a majority of the industries are in health and education, and the rest are pretty average. Retail sales climb as Shoppers get less bang for their buck. People spend less during the pandemic. They saved. People's savings rate were all-time highs. There's pent-up buying demand. There's pent-up selling demand. There's pent-up people want to go on vacations. People want to transact. The economy is, in fact, broken. What's going to fix it? What's going to bring their rates down? Unemployment. They want to see unemployment grow. Because once they see unemployment growing, people are going to spend less money. When people spend less money, there's less demand for the goods and services, meaning there's going to be less jobs. Less jobs, there's going to be less sales. Okay, you're tracking. Less sales results in less inflation. But they want to see unemployment go up. But from that, people are they're going to lose their jobs. They're not going to spend as much out. Everything will reduce overall. That's the Fed's idea of their Keynesian economics. Will it work? I don't know. But we need to shift gears from 5.75 to 6.5. What's going to make our demand go up? This is what I anticipate. I anticipate the demand will shoot through the roof once rates go down. Once we see about 5%, 5.5%, people are going to transact like crazy. For the past 2 years, people have been wanting to move. They want to sell, but they can't because the rates, they can't afford it, right? Second, millennials are becoming of buying age. They're getting into their salaried positions, college is done, husband and wife are coming together. They're buying, they want to buy. We have multi-generational living, two families coming together to buy a house, right? California is going to remain high. I don't care who it is, I don't care what you're telling me. Housing market in California or coastal markets are going to remain high. That's just what it is. The economy, the GDP, the climate, it's going to stay. It's not going to go down crazy. It'll maybe correct 10%. Once the rates go up, once the rates go down, the market's going to go back up. Okay? So, if you want to buy a house and you're waiting for the rates to go down, be careful, because for every 1% in an interest rate, you're changing your buying power by 10%. Meaning, say you're buying a $1 million home and the interest rate drops 1%. Now you can buy $100,000 more. Keep this in mind. On a $500,000 home, rate drops 1%. You can buy $50,000 to $85,000 more for your same payment. It could happen like that. So get yourself into something if you can afford it. Okay? I'm not telling you what to do, but if you can afford it, buy now. Buy real estate now. Because I don't see any reason the inventory is going to climb drastically. As you've seen, there's no foreclosures. There's no notice of default. It's all driven by the demand and the rates at this moment. So you lock yourself into something now. Even at whatever the price is. Once rates drop, they will, we don't know when, but when they do, refinance. Drop your payment, $800, $1,000. Don't kick yourself in the butt. We're waiting. We need more inventory. This is the driver of the demand, low inventory. And it's been the story for the past 4 years. Don't wait. It's not a strategy. People have been waiting since 2008 for another crash. Where is it? Where is it? Have faith, pray, partner with a good advisor. I'm praying for the market, right? So look, 10-year treasury. This is when in 20, they got very low. It's gone up. I'm not going to bore you guys with the treasury rate. Our trend line is up. Home values, supply scarcity and affordability. This is what we're feeling. Low supply and affordability is low. Keeping values where they're at. Bidding wars are multiple offers because there's not enough homes for sale. If you look at the Freddie Mac house price index, how much inflation there is on home prices, 15% year over year. Right now, we're about 1% year over year. We've seen appreciation year over year, 1.2% month over month. They're not going anywhere. This is appreciation. On average, homes appreciate around 5% a year. Even with rates doubling, home values haven't dropped. They have, right? This was 2%. You lost 10% in buying power, like I said. It's found its support line. The bottom is in December. Bottom in January in California. Orange County. The bottom is actually, the peak is in last year. All right, guys. Market overview. Price reductions. Why are there price reductions? Because homes are priced too high. They went up too high, so they have to correct themselves. It's not that the market's going crazy. It's not going bad. It's that buyers can't afford that price anymore for what they're willing. Homes are overpriced. That's why I said, more than ever, pricing is more important than ever. Don't listen to Zillow. You need a expert, a market expert that understands the economy at a macro level and a micro level to know where to position your home in the market. Because buyers are not buying at these prices anymore. Depending on the house, depending on where the market's going, the seasonality, there's a lot of factors into pricing, which is the most important thing. Okay? Share of homes sold above the asking price dipped slightly, but not above 50% for the second consecutive month. What does that mean? 50% of homes sold in July above the asking price. So if you're coming in waiting to offer way below asking, be careful. Sales to list price ratio stays consistent at 100%. Okay? This is a trend from National Association of Realtors. July 23, asking price. Set the expectation. LA County, closed sales year over year. Okay? Let's look at August. 2021, in August was the highest at over 6,500 homes for sale. 2023, sold homes. Well, we don't have that report yet. Let's look at July. From a high in 2021 at almost 7,000, rates went up, dropped. So we're about 50% less sold homes than we were at the peak in 21. Look, 3,700 versus 6,700. Rates double. Half transactions happen because rates double. Half the buyers are kicked out of the market. That's where it is. So if you look at the trajectory, every year, seasonality, less sales towards the end of the year, January will pick back up. So the gateway to heaven, to your dream home, is figure out a strategy. The market is the market. Don't base your decisions off emotion. Rates are the key indicator of where the market's going. Okay? Either buy now or buy in a year from now. It's still going to be expensive. Just do what's right for your family. Make your investment decisions based on long-term strategies. Make sure you can afford it long-term. Make sure you have job security. All right? I hope that was helpful. I'll do more of these. This was a long one. This was a very long one. It was an in-depth analysis on homes in Los Angeles, the macroeconomy, a relapse. Okay? The Fed thought the market was going to die, so they made money free. They used quantitative easing. Money was free. Prices went up because the cost of money was zero. We're dealing with inflation now. Prices went up. Prices are still up. So they have to make the cost higher so less people buy to bring the price down. And there we go. So either home values will steadily adjust themselves to what buyers can pay, or the rates will drop. Builders are building, but they're not catching up nearly enough to where we need. All right, guys. My name is Brandon. You can reach me and my information below on the video below. If you want to schedule a free home buyer masterclass with me and your family, or a home seller analysis, I'll be more than happy to do it for you free of charge. You can contact me at 661-609-3445. Have a great day.